Have you ever stopped and wondered why almost every kitchen in the world has a cooking pot? It looks so normal that most of us never think about it. We use it to boil water, cook rice, make soup, or prepare our favorite meals. But thousands of years ago, the cooking pot didn't even exist. People had food, they had fire, but they had no proper way to cook liquid meals. So how did humans go from fragile clay pots that could crack in a single mistake to the shiny stainless steel pots sitting in our kitchens today? The story is far more interesting than you might think, because every new cooking pot changed the way people lived, traveled, survived, and even built civilizations. Let's go back to where it all began. Long before cities, long before farming, and long before metal tools, early humans cooked in very simple ways. They roasted meat directly over fire or placed it on hot stones. This worked well for meat, but it wasn't perfect. They couldn't easily boil water. They couldn't make soup. They couldn't cook grains properly. Many foods stayed hard, tough, and difficult to digest. Then people started asking an important question. What if we could hold water over a fire? That simple question changed history. Around 10,000 years ago, people discovered that certain types of wet clay could be shaped into bowls and containers. After drying them in the sun or baking them near a fire, these containers became surprisingly hard. The first clay pots were born. They weren't beautiful, they weren't perfectly shaped, and they certainly weren't strong. But they worked. For the first time, people could fill a container with water, place it near a fire, and slowly cook vegetables, grains, and meat together. It completely changed the human diet. Soup became possible, stews became common, food became softer and easier to eat. Even older people and children could now eat foods that were once too hard to chew. Something as simple as a clay pot quietly improved human health. As people became better at making pottery, their cooking pots also improved. Instead of making random shapes, they learned how to build rounded pots with thicker walls. These designs spread heat more evenly and reduced the chances of breaking. Some cultures even decorated their pots with beautiful patterns, proving that cooking tools were becoming more than just objects. They were becoming part of culture. But clay had one big weakness. It was fragile. Drop it once, and it could shatter into dozens of pieces. Heat it too quickly, and it might crack. Carry it over long distances, and there was always a risk of losing everything. As civilizations grew larger, people needed something stronger. Then humanity entered a completely new age, the age of metal. Around 5,000 years ago, humans learned how to melt copper from rocks. This was one of the greatest technological discoveries in history. Soon, people started making cooking pots from copper. Compared to clay, copper was incredible. It didn't break when dropped. It heated much faster. It lasted much longer. Cooking became easier because heat spread quickly across the entire pot. But copper had a problem. Pure copper is soft. It bends easily. And some foods can react with it, changing their taste. People needed something even better. That's when another discovery changed everything. By mixing copper with tin, humans created bronze. Bronze was stronger, harder, and much more durable. This wasn't just the beginning of better cooking pots. It was the beginning of the Bronze Age. Bronze pots became valuable possessions. Families protected them for generations because they were expensive to make. Owning a bronze pot often showed that a family had wealth and status. As trade routes expanded across continents, metal cooking pots traveled with merchants. Ideas spread along with them. One civilization learned from another. Every generation made small improvements. Eventually, humans discovered iron. At first, working with iron wasn't easy. It required much higher temperatures than copper or bronze. Making an iron pot took skill, patience, and experience. But once people mastered it, everything changed again. Iron pots were much stronger than bronze. They could survive years of heavy cooking. They were perfect for large families and busy communities. Over time, blacksmiths became experts at shaping iron into different sizes and designs. Some pots were small enough for a single meal. Others were large enough to feed an entire village. Then came one of the greatest cooking inventions ever created: cast iron. Instead of hammering iron into shape, people poured melted iron into molds. This allowed them to create thick, heavy pots that held heat for a very long time. If you've ever eaten food cooked in cast iron, you know there's something special about it. The pot stays hot for a long time. Food cooks evenly. Flavors become richer. Many families still use cast iron cookware that is over 100 years old. Some are even passed down from grandparents to grandchildren. That's how durable they are. But cast iron wasn't perfect either. It was heavy. Very heavy. Moving a large cast iron pot wasn't easy. It also needed regular care to prevent rust. As the world entered the Industrial Revolution, factories transformed almost every part of daily life. Instead of making pots one by one, machines could produce thousands. New materials appeared. New manufacturing methods reduced costs. Suddenly, quality cookware became affordable for ordinary families. Then came aluminum. People loved it almost immediately. Why? Because it was lightweight. A large aluminum pot weighed far less than cast iron. It heated quickly. It was easy to carry. It didn't rust like iron. For campers, travelers, and everyday home cooks, aluminum was a game changer. But aluminum also had limitations. It could dent. It scratched easily. And over time, people began looking for something even more reliable. That's when stainless steel entered the kitchen. Unlike ordinary steel, stainless steel contains chromium, which creates a protective layer on the surface. This tiny layer prevents rust and keeps the metal looking clean for years. It was exactly what people wanted. Strong, safe, durable, easy to clean, beautiful. Stainless steel quickly became one of the most popular materials for cooking pots around the world. Modern manufacturers made them even better by adding aluminum or copper layers inside the base. This clever design combines fast heating with incredible durability. It's the best of both worlds. Today's cooking pots are the result of thousands of years of trial and error. Every generation learned something new. Every civilization added another improvement. Some modern pots now include glass lids, measuring marks, heat-resistant handles, and special coatings that prevent food from sticking. Some even work with smart induction cooktops using magnetic technology. Others are pressure cookers that prepare meals in a fraction of the usual time. The cooking pot has become smarter than ever before. Yet despite all these changes, its purpose has never changed: to help people prepare food, to bring families together, to turn simple ingredients into something comforting. It's amazing to think that every pot in your kitchen carries the history of thousands of years of human innovation. From fragile clay shaped by hand, to copper glowing in ancient workshops, to bronze that symbolized wealth, to heavy cast iron built to last generations, to lightweight aluminum, and finally, to modern stainless steel designed with advanced engineering. Every step solved a problem. Every improvement made life a little easier. And that's how human progress usually works. Not through one giant invention, but through thousands of small improvements made over centuries. So the next time you see a simple cooking pot sitting quietly on your stove, remember, you're not just looking at a piece of cookware. You're looking at one of humanity's oldest inventions, improved by countless generations, trusted by billions of people, and still evolving today. Who knows what the cooking pots of the future will look like? Maybe they'll cook meals automatically. Maybe they'll use artificial intelligence to prepare the perfect recipe. Or maybe they'll use materials we haven't even discovered yet. Whatever happens, one thing is certain. The story of the cooking pot is far from over. And just like our ancestors who shaped wet clay with their hands thousands of years ago, humans will keep finding better ways to cook, create, and improve everyday life. If you enjoyed discovering the incredible journey behind one of the world's most ordinary objects, don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes the most fascinating stories are hiding inside the things we use every single day.